Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business. I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black business.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school, all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black business. I am Black business. Tell me, are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world.
Good evening and welcome to the Black Business Network. And I am Roz Marshall Jones. I forgot who I was. And we just want to welcome you this evening. We want to welcome all the business owners, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and corporations. Tonight, I am your moderator, and we are getting ready to head into our next speaker. The Black Business Network is a 24-hour business network showcasing Black businesses, business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders around the world. We have speakers from North Carolina, London, Singapore, Africa, Japan, and all over the United States. The Black Business Network is a global community sharing its business knowledge to empower, inspire, and educate businesses about business. Now, our next speaker is someone phenomenal. He is a $1 trillion opportunity and $1 million problem solver. Our next speaker, Terry Proton, is an experienced entrepreneur with a professional background in a creative media in the U.S. and Europe and Asia. In 2015, when VR and AR exploded into the scene, Terry saw the potential and growing creative market whose professionals would need help with strategic and business development advice. Since then, Terry founded his XR business consulting agency and the leading VR, AR showcase and community. I present to you Terry Proton. Terry.
Hi, Rose. Thank you so much for this glowing introduction.
Thank you. Thank you. So I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Okay?
Absolutely. And thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining our talk, the metaverse, the $1 billion opportunity, and the $1 million problem. And before we get started, a few words about us. So for the past few years, we've been on this mission to connect leading enterprises and XR and metaverse creators. And today, virtual reality marketing is the largest community of XR professionals. We've got more than 75,000 members on our LinkedIn group. We've got more than 40,000 subscribers to our newsletter. And we are really excited to be organizing monthly metaverse networking events. And we love this one. It's all about talking about the metaverse in the metaverse, because we find that doing it is better than talk about it. So every month we have industry leaders that are meeting in the space to discuss current XR topic and trends. If you can join, it's glorious. We really love it. And also the cool thing about being in the metaverse is that, well, you're in the same space with the speakers. It's like you're in the same room with them. And another thing we do is we are the largest showcase of XR and metaverse creators. So if you go on our website, we have more than 3,000 companies listed. So AR, VR, metaverse creators. We've got more than 700 case studies listed. And case studies are really important because this technology is new. And so we find that, you know, most people don't really understand what it's about. And so having this library of, if you're looking for examples in retail or in commerce or in aerospace, how are people using this technology? Well, you can look it up and you can understand how it's relevant to you. And we've got guides and we've got interviews. And finally, we also give XR strategic consulting services to, again, leading enterprises, clients, and XR businesses. We help companies, we help XR creators with their go-to-market strategy. And on the flip side, we help enterprise clients enter the space. And so let's talk about the $1 trillion opportunity. So I'm sure you know by now, I mean, one simple way to put it is that the metaverse is going to be the next internet. Basically, we are going from 2D pages to 3D worlds, and that's going to change everything. So for instance, you know, you keep hearing this figure of $5 trillion. So the metaverse is going to create, it's estimated that it's going to create $5 trillion of value by 2030. I believe that it's an estimate that's been given by McKinsey. And they said 2030, but actually it's happening fast. It's happening really fast. It's not in the future, it's today. I mean, I was talking about the use cases we see on our website. I'm going to elaborate on them more. The AR and VR technology have restarted around 2016, 2017, and now you have tons of use case across tons of business verticals of how this technology is unlocking value. And that's the name of the game. Like, the real question here is, how are you, if you're entering the space, how are you going to control your destiny, and how are you going to deliver real value for your company? Because at the end of the day, the metaverse is not about, you know, shiny objects and, you know, 3D parties. It's about value creation and becoming future-proof. And before we go further, I want to take 1 minute to talk about a few definitions, because, you know, all of this is very technical and we keep, you know, hearing and tossing those definitions around. So to get the basics installed. So number one, VR, virtual reality. This one is very simple. Everyone, I think, has heard of it. It's like the Matrix, basically. It's when you put a virtual world completely in front of your eyes and you get fully immersed into this world. And so that's, you can access virtual reality with headsets. And the great thing about virtual reality is that it gives the feeling of presence. It's something that's really difficult to explain. People really need to explain. It's like it's like the Matrix, really. It's like we keep saying, you know, you can't be told what the Matrix is. You have to experience it for yourself. And the people who have actually used VR headsets can tell you that, wow, it's impressive. Like, if you compare to all of the other screens in your life, even big movie screens, you really feel that you're not looking through a window, but you're there. Another definition is AR, or augmented reality. And this one, I think the easier for everyone is to think of Pokemon Go. It's when you have digital content overlaid on the real world. And you can use a headset for this, but the main use case is really using smartphones. There are something like 3 billion of smartphones in this world that are capable of displaying AR content, augmented reality content. And it can be used for anything and everything. Right now, it's really big for use cases in retail and e-commerce. It's really been pushed during COVID, for instance, when people couldn't go in stores and they were relying on their phone to do shopping for everything. And AR technology is great to try things on. So if you want to try a watch or a pair of glasses, you can do that with AR. Or Snapchat filters are also AR. And then you have mixed reality, and mixed reality is the merging of the two. It's basically merging the real world and the computer generated experiences, and you have like this whole blend of physical and digital. And finally, there's one term that you may hear a lot when people talk about the metaverse. They talk about XR, or they talk about the metaverse. And XR means extended reality, and XR is the catch-all term for all of those technology: VR, virtual reality, AR, augmented reality, and MR, mixed reality. And about the metaverse, so it's been really difficult for people to define the metaverse because it doesn't exist yet. I mean, the idea of it, the technologies of it are going to converge in the future, but the one metaverse where everyone connects today does not exist. But it doesn't block people from having, trying to define it. And I'll give you two definitions. Number one, the long, complex definition is the metaverse is a massively scaled and interoperable network of real-time rendered 3D virtual worlds that can be experienced synchronously and persistently by an effectively unlimited number of users with an individual sense of presence and with the continuity of data, such as identity, history, entitlement, and objects. That's a definition from Matthew Ball. If you haven't read this book, The Metaverse, it's a brilliant book, but it's a bit of a long definition. So a shorter definition is, to put it simply, the metaverse is the next generation of the internet, and it's a persistent 3D network of virtual worlds that will connect people, places, and things. And if I take a little bit of time to unpack this, it means that persistence is important because it means that the world is always there, and you can be connected or not be connected, and the world is still going to be there, and all of the objects and all of everything is still going to be there. 3D, and that's really the common denominator in everything we're going to be talking about. The metaverse is in 3D, and it's a big change from 2D pages. All of a sudden, you're exploring 3D spaces. And then a network of virtual worlds, like ideally, you want those worlds to be networked. You want them to be connected, kind of like the internet. You want to be able to jump from one world to the other as easily as you would with an HTML link. When you have a URL on your browser, you click and you get there. So we're not there yet, but it's definitely the goal of creating those worlds where you can, jump and teleport, meet your friends, and they're always there. And what's going to happen, what's happening right now over time is that a lot of our lives, it started with gaming and entertainment, but also work, training is going to take place over there, like, for instance, virtual concerts and all kinds of applications. And that's why, as all of those use cases, vertical per vertical, move to the metaverse, it's going to generate trillions of dollars of value. And before we go further, I want to take 1 minute to talk about video games, because video games are really important in this discussion. Like, very often, people will tell you, well, it's the metaverse, it's a game, it's not really serious. And most people don't really understand the articulation between games and the metaverse. And to put it very simply, the video games are the first metaverse use cases. And what's been really interesting, and if you make this comparison between games and the internet, is that after transitioning from 2D to 3D, the video games became the dominant media industry on Earth. And so it started in 2D, and I think the first console was all the way back in the 1970s, and it was the Magnavox console. And then everybody remembers the first Nintendo, the Nintendo Entertainment System. That was in 1985. That's where there was the first Mario Bros. Game. And then there was the Super Nintendo and the Genesis around the beginning of the 90s, so 89, 91. And all of this was in 2D. And the rise of 3D gaming has started as far back as 1995. And it's really important to realize, because 3D is not new. Like interactive 3D worlds, as I was talking about, are not new. They've existed in one form or another on the PlayStation 1 or on the Nintendo 64 since 1995, and that's something like 30 years ago. And then things have really accelerated afterwards with the PlayStation 2 in 2000, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2005. And those are really important because they kind of cemented the definition of what's a modern 3D experience. They brought in the online gaming ecosystem, and the Nintendo Wii also brought in the motion control and the ability to move with your body. If you remember, the Wii was this super cool console where you could play tennis, and it was the first time you would move your arm to control the racket. And so all of this, same thing, 2005. And if you fast forward all the way to 2017, 2018, to the latest generation of consoles, the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, that's when we've started to see VR catch up. I believe the first PSVR, the first PlayStation VR headset, was launched in 2016. And the first one, the second one was launched this year, I think last month in 2023. But I was talking about all of this, and I'll get back to this. With all of this evolution, the games industry today is a $180 billion industry. I mean, it was in 2020. And it's the biggest cultural industry. It's bigger than film and sports and music combined. And it's also at the forefront of computer technology and many advances. So all of this 3D technology, why are we always talking about games when we talk about the metaverse, is because it's coming from the games. Like, it's the games people who invented all of those, 3D software and processes. And once you're there, like once you've done all of this, like you have, because as I was saying, like the metaverse doesn't exist just yet. Like the metaverse, as defined earlier, a massively scaled and interoperable network of real-time rendered 3D virtual world doesn't exist. What does exist today? Well, what exists is a series of disconnected virtual world platforms, each with its unique set of characteristics. And so, for instance, starting with gaming, because again, it's the grandfather of the metaverse, you've got gaming-based virtual worlds. So Fortnite is super famous and has dozens of millions of players. And it's a persistent world, and it's running on all platforms from mobile to PlayStation. And it fits the definition of a metaverse. At least it's the closest thing to one of them. But it's not the metaverse. It's just one platform. Another type of platform are the blockchain-based virtual worlds. So, for instance, Decentraland is very famous. There was the Decentraland Fashion Week last month. Everyone has been talking about this. And all of this is based on blockchain, and you need a crypto wallet to get there. And the idea of blockchain is that, and it's always very often when people talk about the metaverse and Web3 and crypto, it's kind of grouped together, because one of the cool things of crypto is that it's bringing this decentralized aspect to the metaverse, which is great and nice to have, but not mandatory. Another type of platform is the social-based platform. So, for instance, everybody's heard of Facebook's Horizon Worlds, but there are other less famous platforms like Allspace VR or Rec Room. And here it's all about social interaction, meet with your friends, chatting, playing games, or also going to events, a lot of events, music events. We've been hosting our own events on the Allspace platform for a really long time, professional events. And then you've got purpose-built virtual worlds. So you've got smaller platforms where people can purchase one platform to use it for a very specific use. One great example of this is a platform called Glue. And for instance, this company is specialized in business meetings. So in Glue, you go for your business meetings with your teams. They've been fantastic with COVID. They've been having great deployments with big name clients. I think the biggest media group in Europe is having meeting with Glue for workshops or brainstormings or everything, where it's been great to recreate this link between the teams, this physical, this sense of presence that you couldn't have. And finally, you have custom virtual worlds and environments. Like if you want to build a metaverse, you don't need to use a platform that's already existing. You can also create a custom ad hoc virtual world and something developed completely from scratch from you. And so that's used a lot, for instance, in VR training. VR training is one of the killer apps, and it's very successful in business. I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit later. And most of those worlds are, for a long while at least, now it's changing, but have been built on purpose for the clients because the requirements of the clients are so specific. And finally, you also have mixed reality and AR experiences. And once again, you've got different platforms for this. So the bottom line here, metaverse, not one metaverse, not yet. All of those platforms are different platforms. They are all, you can't jump from one to the other, not yet. But it's what exists today. And I think what's important is kind of remember how the internet was in the 90s. Not everything happens overnight. So it does take time to build this, fully interoperable world. And the next thing I want to talk about are the building blocks. So, okay, metaverse, we're talking about those virtual worlds, and those virtual worlds need to be in 3D. Ideally, they need to be interconnected. And you've got different platforms, and you can use, entertainment platform, gaming platform, professional platforms. Okay. But what are the building blocks? Basically, each different platform is always built on the same bricks. And the bricks are kind of always the same. So avatars, virtual environments, interactivity, networking. So I'm going to go through all of this. So an avatar is your 3D representation of yourself. So when you're in a 3D platform, yourself is going to be represented by a 3D character. One of the cool things of those avatars is that they can be anything you want. So they can be you, they can be the opposite of you, they can be taller, stronger, smaller, or more muscular, or thinner, anything you like. And if you want to play and experience, it's a really cool thing. People love that. The virtual environments are also fantastic because I like to say that in the metaverse, you can basically play God. And it's not an understatement. You can create whatever you want. Like the cool thing about 3D technology, like we've seen in games, is if you want to create a white palace on the moon, you can. If you want to have a meeting on Mars, you can. If you want, one of our clients asked to use the deck of the Starship Enterprise as a meeting room, and why not? So the beauty of those virtual environments is that the sky is the limit. Anything you can think of, you can use as an environment. The next one is really important. It's interactivity. And it's something that's been really overlooked, and it's something that a lot of people need to work on in the future. Again, if I go back to game, when you're in a game, you've got a very clear objective because we humans do things. And so if you get into a place, if you have an avatar and you get into an environment, but there's nothing to do, it's boring. So the interactivity is what's the activity? What are you going to do in this place? And I'm going to elaborate on this in 1 second. And then there's the whole networking aspect, because as we said, the whole definition of the whole point of those worlds is to be joined with several people. So the networking is really important. Being there with other people is really important. And then we talked about the crypto aspects. So you can have your NFTs. The worlds can be based on blockchain. It's a possibility. It's not an obligation, but it's a great one. The next one I want to talk about is AI, because everyone has been talking about AI lately this year. And, I've read a lot of articles along the lines of, is AI going to kill the metaverse? And not 1 second. Technologies are not competing. They're actually merging and working together. So if you will, if you take the internet, is mobile going to kill video, or is video going to kill social? Well, no, they're working together. And when you have mobile and video and social, well, you have Instagram or you have TikTok, and that's where you have the value. And same thing for AI and the metaverse. AI is allowing to do spectacular things with the metaverse. So for instance, one of the great use cases, starting to see companies working on this, is to have those digital humans, aka those avatars that are so realistic that they look like humans. And when you plug your AI on this, like ChatGPT, all of a sudden you can have a real conversation with a hologram or an avatar or a digital human that's answering your questions, and it's sci-fi. It's spectacular, and it's being used in VR training, for instance. Right now, it's all new. Another use of AI for the metaverse, for instance, is the creation of worlds. So there's been a lot of tools, AI tools to create images, to create videos. And we are not quite yet at the stage where we can create full worlds with AI, but we're getting there. And so one of the promises of AI with the metaverse is, again, play God and talk to your AI and say, quite literally, computer, please create me a white palace on the moon, as I was saying. But instead of having artists that are going to manually create the palace, the AI is going to build this for you. And it's fantastic because creating those worlds is extremely resource intensive. And then the hardware. So about the hardware for the metaverse, Fortnite is a great example. People can access the metaverse with all kinds of different hardware. They can access with their phones, their mobiles, their tablets, their computers or laptops, and headsets. Basically, any device that's really capable, and now it's everything. And it's kind of up to you. It's kind of up to the level of immersion that you want to get in this world. And back to the activities. One of the things I like to talk about is that activities, what you do, when I was saying that if you don't have anything to do, it's boring, but it's much more than that. The activities, what you do, those use cases are the key to the value creation in the metaverse. And so being there is a start, but what really matters is what you're going to do in this world. So on our website, I was saying that's why we track all of the case studies of the different companies and what they build in the metaverse to make it accessible for clients. Key business use cases in the metaverse. So I was talking about training, education. This one is massive. This one is so important because with this feeling of presence that when you're in a 3D space, there's been a lot of studies that are proving that it's activating more of the zones of your brain, and you basically remember better, much better, faster. You can also use your body, and so you have muscle memory. And so when training in VR, people remember something like 85% of the training as opposed to 10, 15, 20% when they see slides. It's a massive difference. So this one makes all the sense in the world. I'll go through another use case and I'll talk about more at the end. Marketing, advertising is also another one. There's been a lot of activations where being able to see and interact in 3D. I was talking about those retail examples of if you want to buy your shoes and you have like a VR try on and you can try your shoe on your phone, or you can do that with glasses or anything, any object you can purchase. So all of this really important. And I'll do a last one, enterprise also. I was talking about those remote meetings and this remote collaboration. Also extremely important for large companies when they are working on complex projects and they have a lot of stakeholders, people all around the globe that are working on this project. It's way more effective to bring them in the same space in VR, and maybe they have the feeling to be together. Maybe they can work together on the same. If they're engineers or architects, they can work on the same buildings. They can see it before. So, for instance, in this case, architects save a lot of money. Architects and developers, building developers, save a lot of money by doing building design reviews in 3D before whatever they're building is completed, because it's much faster, much cheaper to make the changes live on a 3D model than to actually build the physical building and realize that you have a problem. And so that's where the value is. The value is not so much in what you're spending with creating this building in 3D, but it's more about all that you're saving, but not making the mistake of creating a large building and then realizing with the architect and the designers that, oh, we got this thing wrong and we need to move this level and it's already built, so it needs to be destroyed. It's costing a fortune, it's costing millions of dollars. And that's a great transition for me to start talking about the second part. I mean, after talking about all of those great opportunities brought by the metaverse, start talking about the $1 million problem. And we have a unique perspective on the XR industry. And this is what we've seen play over and over and over the last 12 to 18 months. Basically, entering the metaverse is extremely difficult for most clients. And to put it simply, I would give you a few reasons. So for instance, immersive technology tends to be overwhelming. It's very hard to find trusted AR, VR, metaverse partners for most clients. And I like to say the bigger the budget, the bigger the problem. Like if you need to spend millions of dollars on this application, it's the first time you're doing this, who are you going to trust with that? And how are you going to know they're the right one for you? And last but not least, most clients don't understand the true cost and the true complexity of immersive content. And this one is a really big one. And I'm not pointing fingers, it's really normal, but I spent a little bit of time talking about video games before because, as I was saying, and to summarize, the metaverse is built on top of 30 years of evolution of hardcore 3D video games technology. All of the metaverses are using the video games tools. And so if you want to create one of those super advanced metaverse application, well, guess what? You're going to be using video games tools. And without this culture, the challenge is that the clients and the XR suppliers don't speak the same language and it's often resulting in million-dollar mistakes and delays of several months. So to give you an example, I'll give you two true stories. We're in the trenches every day, and we keep talking to companies, we keep advising both sides, the clients and the suppliers. And first example is a publicly traded company, and they started this ambitious metaverse division in the first quarter of 2022, last year. And at the time, they had planned a release of a series of 6 experiences by the month of June 2022. So just 2-3 months afterwards. Like, we've been talking with them for like exactly a year. And long story short, after many delays, and they will publish their first round of content by the third or the fourth quarter of this year. So say something like September or Christmas of 2023. So they have 12 to 18 months of delay on their initial schedule. And they're really smart people. They're some of the smartest people. Everyone around the table has the best track record, the best expertise on tech, but it's just new and different tech that they have to learn, and the stakes are high. And so with this client, a fun fact is, for the same brief, they got quotes ranging from $25,000 to $2 million. So for the client, they ask, hey, please build me this thing. And one company will say $25,000, another company will say $200,000, another company will say $2 million. And the client says, what's going what's going on? Why the difference? And what's happened here is that, well, the brief of the client was too light and was being interpreted in very many different ways by different people. So some people can do the luxury version, some other people can do the very sophisticated version. And the second example I'm going to give you is a privately owned company. And in this case, they chose to work with a big name, XR supplier, one of the biggest names in the industry. But turns out that this company was so busy that they chose to outsource to another company who did a botched job. And again, the client didn't really have the culture, didn't really understand. I mean, they understood the high level, but they didn't really understand the details of what was going on. And 12 months in, they realized that their initial $1.5 million investment was lost. And so fast forward to today, this launch is delayed something like 9 months. And the budget has ballooned to $4 million to make up for the lost time and hiring people at the last minute. So really difficult for these guys. I know the CEO personally, is a friend, and I know it's been very challenging for them. And they've been almost shut down by their board not so long ago. And well, that's what we're solving. What we're solving is we help our clients save a lot of time, and we help them save millions of dollars, literally. Basically, we help them deploy and maintain an influential presence in the metaverse faster, and really bridge the gap between those clients and the suppliers. And the way we do this is we have this process where we take the clients by the hand, and we start with education, and we start by getting them up to speed on the latest metaverse technologies and trends. And then, super important, something that's overlooked by everyone, we work on their strategy and take the time to divine what are their metaverse goals and how to reach them. Like, too many times last year, what's happened all year is people have seen shiny objects and, hey, someone is on Roblox or someone is on Decentraland. And so we need to open our Roblox metaverse as fast as humanly possible. And I've got nothing against Roblox, but if you don't know why you're there, that's a huge problem, because you're going to be there and you're going to have no activity, and you're not going to have success. And then the budgets. The budgets is really my favorite topics, because you want to understand the typical budgets and timeline. And again, I was talking about games, I was talking about movies. what's important to know is that your typical video game, your typical PlayStation 5 video game, interactive 3D game is something like 100. I mean, ranges from $50 million to $150 million. Your typical Marvel movie ranges from 150, and I believe the Avengers Endgame went all the way to $386 million. So when a client approaches this with the same budget that they're using in digital, and if you want to create your experience with a budget of like $150,000, $250,000, and you think you have a lot of money for the metaverse, you don't. Hi, Roz. And so next we help our clients with the creative and how to, I was giving this example of the creative briefs that's to Finn, and getting those briefs right and getting the creatives right is very challenging for most companies, because in games and in movies, you have something that's called the Bible, and it's document thick like this that describe everything. If you can play God and if you can create a world when you need to define everything, including the color of the wallpaper of the second floor. And once you've got all of this in place, we help our clients connecting with the right resources and connecting with partners they can trust, helping them build their team. And last but not least, we stay on as advisors to launch the initial use cases and monitor the results and the performance.
Terry, thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you've said. And thank you. You've given us a PhD education in 40 minutes. Genius is coming, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you so much, Roz.
Thank you, darling.